Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Devil May Cry 5. This title was sent to me by Capcom so that I could give it a look and tell you guys my opinions on it. I already did a video for gameplay impressions, which you guys can check out. I'll link that in the top right-hand side of this video. This is not a review. It is just like an update, so to say, on my opinion of the game now that I've actually finished it. I finished it last night on Devil Hunter difficulty, and I'm not saying that as a brag because as far as I'm concerned, Devil Hunter appears to be the normal difficulty, even though it says for veterans of the Devil May Cry series. It's like, no, Devil Hunter is normal difficulty, Human is easy mode, and then you get the subsequent difficulties, which right now I'm working my way through Son of Sparta because I actually enjoyed the game a lot more than what I was expecting. Because, like, sure, I've played Devil May Cry 3, I've played a large chunk of Devil May Cry 4, and I've played the reboot of Devil May Cry, but I wouldn't consider myself like a Devil May Cry die-hard fan or anything like that. I tend to enjoy spectacle fighters, but to be completely honest, I just wasn't expecting to get as invested into Devil May Cry 5 as I did. And I know that probably a large portion of that has to do with the whole situation around the red orbs, which is something that I definitely want to touch up on today, because you guys know that I did that video, Devil Makes Me Cry 5, which I talked about in my previous video, and I just have to say that now that I've actually finished the game, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that, like, the whole you being able to purchase red orbs thing in Devil May Cry 5 has absolutely no impact whatsoever in the game. Doesn't matter which way you try to slice it, especially because after a certain section of the game you actually receive an item that allows you to get more orbs than normal. And once you get that, you can just get as many orbs as you want, so long as you do just a little tiny bit of farming. You can get all the orbs that you want to get all of the things and all of the trees for all of the characters. But even without doing that, pretty much every time that I was playing the game, I would look at a character that I'm playing, I'm like, I want to get this skill. And I would usually be able to get it the moment that I saw it, or I would have to save up for like one mission before I got the skill that I wanted. But that is what is normal in most spectacle fighters anyways, because that's how it works, right? You see the skill, and the skill happens to be more expensive than some of the other skills, so you save up for one mission, and then you go back and you buy that skill, and everything works out fine. So in a lot of ways, this is almost an apology to some of the statements that I might have made in the past. It is very rare for me to have to do that stuff, but in this specific case, I really did felt the need to come back and talk about this, because the way that they have done it, it's like the store that they have, it doesn't even impact the game. The game hasn't even mentioned the store to me once, which is more than we can say for other games. And you guys know there's a jab incoming straight at Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because, like, you know, Devil May Cry 5 could have had plenty of opportunities to tell me, like, hey, you know, we have this store thing here that you can come and you can buy. Never did it. It never did it. Not once. I went through the whole game. Not once have I seen a mention of the store. Now, I've had friends tell me that apparently if you click on a skill that you don't have enough orbs to buy or something, then it will tell you, hey, there's a store, you can buy more orbs. But I've never did that because you could clearly see, like, oh, this skill's in red. I don't have enough for that skill, so I'll need to go and get more orbs. So I never clicked the skills that were red because I knew I wasn't going to be able to get them, so I never bothered. Switching gears into story, I personally really enjoyed the story of this game, and I'm saying this as someone that hasn't really played the previous games through the completion, but I did read up on the story of the previous titles to get a little bit more context into the story of Devil May Cry 5, which is not necessary. You can come into Devil May Cry 5 completely fresh. They do give you a brief summary in the main menu. You can go and you can check out the story of the previous titles, but it's very brief. So I went and I digged up a little bit deeper into the story of Devil May Cry and into some of the characters and all that stuff. And there is a bit of a bigger payout if you are aware of those stories. But again, I'm not going to get into too much detail. I will just tell you that I personally really enjoyed the story. I thought it was really good. It was a whole experience from beginning to finish, and you know, there's a couple of twists here and there. Some of them, a lot of people will see them coming, and you will be able to instantly say, aha, I know what is that thing about, and I know what is going to happen here. But I think that people that are coming in fresh might be a little bit, oh, this thing and that thing, and oh, wow, ooh, yeah. So there is still room for people to be surprised there. But more importantly, I think that more importantly than just the story itself is some of the crazy over-the-top stuff that happens in some of the cutscenes. Some of those cutscenes, which I might add, I've seen quite a lot of content creators just straight up post the entirety of those cutscenes in their reviews, and I'm just looking at that and I'm thinking, wow, if I had watched this before actually finishing the game, I'd be really upset now, because I don't think people understand the importance of actually experiencing the cutscenes of a video game for the very first time in the context of the story of that video game. And I have to say, that is something that bothers me. One cutscene in particular that I'm not going to mention. I'm not definitely going to show it, because that would completely defeat the purpose. But yeah, I was just looking at some of the videos out there and I was like, wow. That's great. You guys are really doing your audiences a real service there by just showing that stuff. But whatever. Basically, in terms of gameplay, it's a very interesting thing, because when I first started playing Devil May Cry 5, I was like, man, this is complicated, trying to figure this stuff out. And I was like, I don't think that these controls are intuitive. I'm struggling a little bit here. And I've kind of graduated from that into how can I better employ this specific skill that I just got from the store? How can I get this specific thing and use that in combat? How can I better combo this weapon with this other weapon? And it's just the whole system around it makes you want to be better. And I already know that I'm probably never really going to reach the upper echelons of Devil May Cry gameplay with the triple S on every fight or anything like that. And I'm under no illusion that that is going to be the case. But at the same time, I think that there is a lot of room for enjoyment when you are just trying to improve, when you are just trying to figure out, okay, I want to do the max act when I hit the people with the sword, and I want to get, you know, the exceed going, and I want to get the gun going, and I want to get the grabs with my devil, what are they called again? Devil breakers, and I want to do all of that stuff. Or particularly, one of the things that I really liked about this game has to be the playstyle of V. And I've mentioned this in my previous video, and since then I've seen a lot of videos from other people that they just flat out say, oh, I don't like V, it feels weird and whatnot. But that's the thing. V feels so interesting because it is very unique in terms of the spectacle fighter. Because you've never really had, at least that I can remember, in a spectacle fighter, a character that is, in all essence, a summoner that is controlling creatures instead of controlling himself, and that you actually have direct control over the actions of those creatures. They are the ones dealing the combos, and I personally found that to be very satisfying. There's also the fact that V is, in my opinion, the easiest character to play of all, because you can pretty much reach triple S every time by just spamming triangle and square, even though personally I went a whole lot deeper than that to get a little bit more satisfaction into the different moves that the creatures can do, because again, I just found his play style so fascinating, because it's like you're commanding these two creatures and then you're intervening midway in order to perform the finishing blows, because they can't finish the monsters themselves. And I don't know, there was just something there that I really liked. And having said that though, now that I've played Dante, good God, the things that they have done to Dante, holy crap. I'm not sure if I'm going to be showing footage of Dante in this video though, because I would almost feel that revealing some of the weapons that he gets to be a spoiler, and I think I want that to be a surprise for you guys. Like if you are enjoying the game and all that, I want you to experience the moment where you get those weapons for the first time and the meaning that they have, or that they might have, particularly if you're a returning player. You know, I want you to actually experience that stuff in game. But let me just tell you, Dante is, in my opinion, the most complex character in the entire game, and he's how should I put it? He's very easy to pick up though. Don't take this to say like, oh my God, nobody's going to be able to play Dante. No, he's very easy to pick up. You can basically get through the entire game by focusing on like 1 or 2 specific weapons and not really worry too much about anything else. But if you really want to take full advantage of Dante's moveset, and you'll basically be able to juggle 4 melee weapons, 4 different ranged weapons in 4 different styles all at the same time. You know, you can go, oh, I'll just go Trickster with, let's just say, weapons that everybody knows Dante has with the Rebellion and Ebony and Ivory, right? Or I can go into Gunslinger with this other weapon and these other weapons that I found. And it is extremely satisfying when you figure out how you can chain together moves with all the different weapons and how fast he swaps between these different weapons. And there's one weapon in particular. God. Oh, it's so good. I mean, I'll answer in the comments if you guys want to know what the weapon is, but I'm not going to mention it in the video in case people are doing like media blackout or something like that for Devil May Cry, because maybe they're still saving up to get it or whatever. But yeah, really, really satisfying. But again, to me, the biggest surprise of all, I think, is still V. Even though, again, I think most people will definitely go towards Dante, and some of the stuff that eventually happens to Nero also very, very interesting. But I feel like you will definitely get a lot of value out of Devil May Cry 5 because it's got a lot of replayability to it. It's got, because I mean, you know, you play through the game in Devil Hunter, then you can play through the game again in Son of Sparta, and I don't know if anything else changes for the next difficulty, which I believe is Dante Must Die. But one of the things that I would have liked, and again, I don't know if this becomes unlocked at some point in the game because I'm still just working through Son of Sparta. One of the things that I would have liked is I would have liked to be able to pick any character. Like after you finish the game, right? I would have liked to be able to play any level with any of the 3 characters. Like I want to play through the whole game as V, for instance, right? And from what I've played so far, it doesn't seem like that is something that you unlock. But, you know, even then, like, I enjoyed it so much. It just feels like Capcom is really knocking it out of the park with a lot of their games recently. Like, we've had, not so long ago, Resident Evil 7, which I actually played here on the channel. Despite the fact that I'm not a massive Resident Evil fan, and I'm usually not that much into horror games, I know that a lot of people wanted me to play it, so I played it for you guys, and I did enjoy it. So Resident Evil 7, in my opinion, they definitely knocked that one out of the park. Then naturally, Monster Hunter World. I mean, you guys know how much I love that. That's my favorite game of all time, pretty much since it came out. And then more recently, we've also had Resident Evil 2, which I haven't even played, but pretty much every person that likes Resident Evil that has played is like, this is like friggin' the best thing ever. So, and now Devil May Cry 5, which I wasn't even planning on playing because I was just like, I was super salty about the whole red orbs thing. And then I was like, okay, let's not be stubborn. Let's give this a shot. And I gave it a shot. And I'm so happy because I know for a fact this game is going to be on my top 10 games of this year. Like straight up. Maybe even in the top 5. We'll see if that is the case or not. But goddamn, I was super surprised. And look, I'm one of the reasons why I'm making this video is like, look, even if you're someone that doesn't like Devil May Cry, or maybe you think that you're not into Devil May Cry because you think, oh, the combos they're too hard to pull off or something like that. The game has an auto assist mode, which I still haven't tested, but basically it lets you do cool shit without not necessarily having to master the combo system. So you can still play the game in that mode and do all of the cool shit and experience all of the cool stuff and the story, which is, in my opinion, it is worth it to play it for the story because there's a lot of over-the-top shit happening in the cutscenes, and it's just a lot of fun. It's just a really fun game, and I would hate for people to miss out on it because they're like, oh, but I don't know how to do the combos, or maybe Devil May Cry is too hard, or whatever. It's just like, don't think like that. Just think about how much fun it is going to be. If you like the gameplay that you're watching, naturally, because not everybody likes spectacle fighters, so, you know, it is what it is. But even though it is a very technical fighter, you don't have to be super technical in order to enjoy it. And I don't think that you should let that aspect of it stop you from enjoying it. But, you know, that's just one man's opinion. All I can really say is it really blew me away. It really surprised me. And the whole red orbs thing, don't even think about it. You don't need it at all. And yeah, Devil May Cry 5, pretty freaking awesome. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. If you didn't, click the dislike button. Subscribe if you're new here so that you're always notified. And I'll see you in the next one.
Chop it up! Get out of my sight!